Men over 60. 4 cheeses to avoid at night. 4 for better prostate health. Gentlemen, imagine this. Just a single slice of cheese at night could determine whether you sleep peacefully or wake up 3 or 4 times with your prostate pulling you out of bed. According to the American Urological Association, more than 70% of men over 60 eat cheese at least 3 times a week. Yet most don't realize that certain cheeses quietly worsen enlarged prostate, BPH, fueling nighttime urges and draining sleep quality. Take Robert, a 62-year-old retiree from Phoenix. For years, he blamed aging for his restless nights, until his doctor revealed the real culprit was his nightly cheese habit. In this video, you'll discover 4 cheeses to avoid at night and 4 that actually support prostate health. And here's the surprise. The worst cheese isn't some exotic variety. It's a familiar, everyday favorite that might already be in your fridge. 4 cheeses to avoid at night. 1. Processed cheese slices. When we talk about the worst cheeses for enlarged prostate, processed cheese slices sit high on the list. Those shiny yellow sheets wrapped in plastic look harmless in a late-night sandwich, but they carry a hidden cost. According to USDA data, 1 slice can hold over 300 milligrams of sodium plus added phosphates that make the body hold water. For men over 60, that means more fluid retention, more pressure on the bladder, and more trips to the bathroom at night. Sodium phosphate is not just a preservative, it's a trigger that magnifies nocturia, the condition that steals restful hours of sleep. I recall a conversation with Mark, 62, from Columbus, Ohio. Every evening, he grilled 2 sandwiches layered with processed slices, believing it was a quick dinner. Yet he was waking up 3 or 4 times each night. When his doctor suggested dropping the slices and choosing a natural block cheese instead, his sleep changed dramatically within weeks. That simple adjustment gave him back his mornings without the fatigue of broken rest. The danger of processed cheese is not in 1 slice, but in repetition. Night after night, the salt and additives build up, quietly fueling the very prostate problems men are trying to manage. The lesson is clear. Convenience foods promise comfort, but they often deliver discomfort in the hours when your body should be recovering. And if processed slices can cause this much disruption, what about the spreads sitting in glass jars, looking even more innocent, yet hiding their own cocktail of additives that may quietly inflame your prostate? That's where our next story begins. 2. Cheese spreads in jars. Cheese spreads in jars may look like a harmless late-night treat, something quick to smear on bread before bed, but for men over 60, they can be a silent enemy of prostate comfort. These spreads are often loaded with MSG, hydrogenated fats, and preservatives that ignite inflammation. According to a 2020 review in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition, diets high in processed additives are linked with elevated C-reactive protein, a marker of chronic inflammation. For a prostate already enlarged, inflammation is like gasoline on a fire. It magnifies urgency, weak stream, and the nightly trips to the bathroom. Jim, a 64-year-old from Houston, Texas, used to enjoy a thick layer of cheese spread on crackers every evening while watching baseball. He believed it was harmless compared to heavier meals. But his nights told a different story. 2. Sometimes 3 wake-ups, leaving him exhausted in the morning. At his doctor's suggestion, Jim eliminated the spreads and replaced them with natural cheeses in smaller portions. Within weeks, his nocturia episodes dropped noticeably. He told me, "I never thought something so small could steal so much sleep." The truth is, convenience foods rarely come without hidden costs. For seniors, especially those managing BPH, every additive that sparks inflammation keeps you from the one thing your body needs most: uninterrupted rest. Cheese spreads may promise comfort, but they often deliver the opposite: long nights broken into pieces. And if a simple spread can trigger that much trouble, imagine what happens with the shredded bags sitting in freezers across America, promising convenience, but hiding another set of problems waiting to unfold. 3. Pre-shredded cheese in bags. Pre-shredded cheese in bags looks convenient, perfect for sprinkling on frozen pizza or tacos, but for men over 60, it can be a hidden disruptor of prostate comfort. To keep those shreds from clumping, manufacturers often coat them with cellulose, a refined wood pulp, along with mold inhibitors like natamycin. While technically safe, these additives make digestion harder. A 2019 food chemistry study found cellulose slows nutrient absorption and increases bloating in sensitive guts. For seniors managing an enlarged prostate, that means extra abdominal pressure pushing on the bladder at night, translating into more bathroom trips and fractured sleep. Take Mr. Daniels, 62, from Des Moines, Iowa. He loved his late-night ritual, eating a slice of frozen pizza topped with bagged mozzarella. He never connected his restless nights and 2 a.m. bathroom runs to those pre-shredded toppings. When his daughter suggested switching to block cheese and grating it fresh, his digestion improved within weeks, and he told her, "I never thought a bag of cheese could rob me of sleep." The truth is, shortcuts in food often lead to long detours in health. For men over 60, small adjustments add up. Choosing block Parmesan, Gouda, or cheddar, shredding just what you need, gives your body fewer chemicals to fight at night. The reward is deeper rest, steadier digestion, and less strain on an already sensitive prostate. And if a bag of shreds can steal hours of sleep, imagine what happens when we step into the world of rich, pungent cheeses, the kind many believe are gourmet, yet for seniors can quietly stir up even greater problems. For blue cheese. Blue cheese is often seen as a gourmet choice, the fancy topping on salads or the creamy base of a rich dressing. But for men over 60, this indulgence can quietly sabotage prostate health and nighttime rest. The problem lies in its biochemistry. Blue cheese is loaded with tyramine and histamine, compounds that elevate blood pressure, stimulate the nervous system, and disrupt sleep cycles. Add to that the sodium, up to 400 milligrams per ounce, according to the USDA, and you have a recipe for more nocturnal urgency, less deep sleep, and a stressed prostate. Consider Mr. Harris, 66, from Denver. A retired lawyer, he enjoyed blue cheese crumbles on his steak salads several nights a week. What he didn't realize was that his midnight bathroom trips correlated with those meals. After his doctor suggested removing blue cheese, his blood pressure stabilized, and his nocturia dropped dramatically. His words were simple: "I thought I was treating myself, but really, I was punishing my nights." This is the hidden trap, believing that expensive or artisanal means healthier. In truth, price or prestige doesn't neutralize the biological impact on an aging prostate. The lesson for senior health is clear. What feels like a harmless indulgence can quietly undermine men's health after 60. And while removing blue cheese from your evening plate may feel like a small sacrifice, the gain in prostate comfort, uninterrupted sleep, and long-term vitality is immeasurable. But if avoiding the wrong cheeses is half the battle, the real hope lies in discovering which cheeses actively support prostate health and better aging. The surprising truth is that some of the best allies for your prostate are also delicious, waiting to be chosen as your nightly companion. 4 cheeses for better prostate health. 1. Aged Gouda. At number 4, let's start with aged Gouda, an unsung hero when it comes to prostate-friendly cheese for men over 60. Unlike the heavily processed slices we warned about earlier, Gouda has something most seniors desperately need: vitamin K2. According to the National Institutes of Health, K2 plays a key role in calcium regulation, reducing the risk of calcification not just in your arteries, but also around the prostate, which can worsen urinary symptoms. That's why many nutritionists call Gouda the anti-calcification cheese. But there's more. During the aging process, Gouda develops postbiotics, tiny compounds that act like cleanup crews, lowering inflammation in the urinary tract. Think of it as a silent guardian, working behind the scenes to keep swelling down. Let me give you a real picture. I spoke with Alan, a 61-year-old retired firefighter from Buffalo, New York. For years, he ended his night with a few slices of American cheese on crackers. He thought it was harmless, until nocturia had him up 3 or 4 times a night. When his dietitian suggested swapping to aged Gouda paired with apple slices, something changed. Within weeks, his midnight bathroom trips dropped, and he told me, "I finally sleep like I did in my 40s. That's not a miracle, it's smart nutrition. Here's the takeaway: you don't have to cut cheese out of your life. You just have to choose better. Gouda at room temperature, paired with whole grain crackers or crisp fruit, doesn't just taste gourmet. It aligns with a prostate-friendly diet, supporting men's health after 60 while keeping indulgence on the table. And if Gouda seems impressive, wait until you hear about the cheese that Italians have trusted for centuries, one that offers both calcium strength and digestive ease. 2. Parmesan Reggiano. At number 3, we arrive at Parmesan Reggiano, the king of cheeses. But this isn't just about flavor. It's about science that matters for men over 60 and prostate health. Unlike heavy processed cheeses, Parmesan is naturally rich in calcium and bioavailable amino acids. What makes it stand out is how easy it is to digest. Because it's aged for at least 24 months, much of the lactose is broken down, and the proteins are pre-digested into peptides. That means less bloating, less digestive stress, and indirectly less pressure on the prostate and bladder. According to the European Food Safety Authority, aged Parmesan is one of the most nutrient-dense cheeses, delivering calcium and protein without the inflammatory kick of additives. But here's where storytelling becomes real. I think of Robert, a 62-year-old retired postman from Des Moines, Iowa. For decades, his nightly habit was a grilled cheese sandwich with processed slices. He didn't realize that sodium overload was fueling his late-night bathroom trips. When his daughter suggested he try small shavings of Parmesan over roasted vegetables or even just a teaspoon on whole-grain pasta, his evenings changed. He laughed and told me it felt fancy at first, but the biggest surprise was I wasn't up 3 times a night. That's not coincidence. It's the difference between inflammatory and prostate-friendly foods. Italians have practiced this wisdom for centuries, finishing dinners with a bite of Parmesan not just for taste but for better digestion and deeper rest. For senior health, it's a lesson worth borrowing. Parmesan isn't just cheese, it's senior wisdom in edible form. Replace your late-night snack with a modest serving, and you're giving your body a tool for balance, not a burden to fight against. And if you think Parmesan is powerful, the next cheese takes things even further, packing omega-3s, CLA, and live probiotics into every bite, making it one of the most prostate-protective choices you can find in an American grocery aisle. 3. Grass-fed raw cheddar. Now we arrive at grass-fed raw cheddar, a cheese that doesn't just fill your plate, it fuels your prostate health. Unlike heavily processed dairy, raw cheddar from grass-fed cows is loaded with conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, omega-3 fatty acids, and probiotics that actively fight inflammation. For men over 60, inflammation is one of the hidden drivers of enlarged prostate, BPH, and nighttime urges. A study published in the Journal of Dairy Science found that grass-fed raw milk cheeses contain up to 30% more omega-3s compared to grain-fed varieties, giving your prostate a protective shield rather than extra stress. Let's bring this to life. Imagine Frank, a 61-year-old from Madison, Wisconsin, the heart of America's cheese country. For years, his evening ritual was a bowl of mac and cheese, heavy with processed cheddar. He never connected that habit to waking up 3, sometimes 4 times a night. After visiting a local farmer's market, he swapped it for a small slice of raw cheddar paired with sauerkraut. Within weeks, Frank reported fewer trips to the bathroom and deeper, uninterrupted sleep. His story isn't unique. It's a real example of how cheese can either drain your nights or restore them. The secret lies in keeping it raw and simple. Heat destroys probiotics, so don't melt this cheese into oblivion. Instead, eat it at room temperature, with fermented partners like pickles or sauerkraut. That combination strengthens the gut, lowers systemic inflammation, and directly supports prostate comfort. Grass-fed raw cheddar isn't just a snack, it's a natural probiotic capsule disguised as food. And here's the takeaway: cheese doesn't have to be the villain. When you choose wisely, it becomes a silent ally in your fight for men's health after 60. And if grass-fed raw cheddar feels impressive, the final cheese on this list will surprise you even more. It delivers antioxidants and protective peptides that not only support your prostate but may even guard your brain as you age. 4. Swiss Gruyere. Swiss Gruyere may be the most underestimated ally in men's health after 60. This cheese isn't just a flavorful addition to a sandwich. It's a powerhouse of glutathione precursors, which the National Institutes of Health highlights as one of the body's most important antioxidants. Glutathione helps neutralize oxidative stress, a silent force that damages prostate cells over time. Alongside that, Gruyere delivers a rich dose of vitamin B12, essential for nerve health, energy, and red blood cell formation, all of which support the vitality men often feel slipping away after 60. But Gruyere's magic doesn't stop there. Its natural peptides act like a built-in blood pressure regulator, relaxing vessels, improving circulation, and indirectly supporting prostate comfort by easing the strain on the urinary system. Now picture George, a 68-year-old from San Diego, California. For years, his nightly snack was potato chips washed down with cola, a combination that left him bloated, restless, and making multiple bathroom trips. After a heart-to-heart with his doctor, George switched to a simple ritual: one slice of Gruyere on whole grain bread, sometimes with a few grapes on the side. Within weeks, his sleep was deeper, his nighttime urges reduced, and he felt sharper during the day. His story illustrates what research already confirms. Fermented cheeses like Gruyere don't just feed your taste buds, they feed your cells. And here's the larger lesson. You don't need to cut cheese out of your life to protect your prostate. You just need to choose wisely. Gruyere proves that cheese can be both indulgence and medicine, a bridge between pleasure and prevention. For men over 60, it's not about giving up your favorite foods. It's about upgrading them so every bite builds a longer, stronger life. And if Gruyere sounds like a game changer, wait until you see how these lessons tie together into a bigger truth about living well beyond 60. John, 65, from Denver, Colorado, had a routine that felt harmless. Every evening, he'd melt 2 slices of processed cheese onto a piece of white bread, sit down with a TV, and call it comfort food. It was his ritual, his way of winding down. But what he didn't notice at first was how this small habit was shaping his nights. Slowly, evenings turned into restless battles. John found himself waking up 3, sometimes 4 times, stumbling down the hallway to the bathroom, frustrated and exhausted. Like many men his age, he assumed this was simply aging catching up with him. After all, wasn't waking up at night just part of being over 60? But when he finally mentioned it to his doctor, the answer surprised him. His doctor explained the connection between salty, processed foods, especially cheese loaded with sodium, and the pressure it places on the bladder and prostate. That pressure was triggering his nightly bathroom trips. Determined to reclaim his nights, John made a small but powerful change. He swapped his processed cheese slices for a small portion of natural cheeses like Parmesan or Gruyere, pairing them with whole grain crackers instead of white bread. Within a few weeks, something remarkable happened. John was sleeping nearly 7 hours straight without interruption. What he once thought was an unavoidable part of aging turned out to be a solvable problem hidden in his diet. His story carries a lesson for every man over 60. You don't always need big, dramatic changes to improve your health. Sometimes it's about smarter swaps. Life after 60 isn't about giving up the foods you love. It's about respecting them, understanding which ones work with your body and which ones work against it. Cheese isn't the enemy, but the kind of cheese, the timing of when you eat it, and what you pair it with can make all the difference for your prostate, your bladder, and your sleep. Research from the American Urological Association confirms this. Men who reduce salty, processed foods see measurable improvements in lower urinary tract symptoms, including fewer nighttime urges. That's not a myth. That's not wishful thinking. That's data. So, here's the practical takeaway you can apply tonight. First, avoid salty cheeses, especially processed or spreadable ones, after 7 p.m. They increase fluid retention and pressure right when your body should be winding down. Second, if you want a nighttime snack, pair your cheese with fiber-rich foods, carrots, celery, or a handful of almonds. These help balance digestion and slow absorption. Third, adjust your hydration schedule. Drink most of your water earlier in the day, then ease off in the 2 hours before bedtime. You'll stay hydrated without overloading your bladder at night. On their own, these changes may seem small, but stack them together, repeat them daily, and they add up to something powerful: a healthier prostate, more restful nights, and renewed energy during the day. The ultimate lesson is this: health after 60 isn't built on radical overhauls. it's built on small, repeated choices. Tonight's choice of cheese might feel trivial, but it could be the difference between broken sleep and 7 hours of uninterrupted rest. And if you can master something this simple, just imagine how much more you can do for your body, your mind, and your future. So, let's bring it home. Tonight, you've seen the truth laid out clearly. Not all cheeses are created equal, and for men over 60, the kind you put on your plate can directly influence how your nights unfold. For cheeses in particular quietly sabotage prostate health and sleep, processed slices, those convenient cheese spreads, the pre-shredded bags hiding preservatives and sodium, and yes, even blue cheese with its rich salt content. Each of these, though delicious, can trigger fluid retention, add pressure on your bladder, and fuel those frustrating nighttime trips to the bathroom. But the good news is just as clear. There are 4 cheeses that work in your favor. Aged Gouda, Parmesan Reggiano, raw cheddar, and Swiss Gruyere aren't just flavorful choices, they're nutrient-dense, lower in sodium, and in many cases, packed with beneficial probiotics that support digestion and reduce inflammation. Swapping out one cheese for another may seem minor, but it can create a powerful ripple effect in your life. One small change at night can mean the difference between dragging yourself out of bed 3 or 4 times, or sleeping a full 7 hours straight, waking up energized and ready to live the day on your terms. And this isn't just anecdotal wisdom. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirms that seniors who shift toward lower sodium, probiotic-rich dairy experience fewer urinary symptoms, more consistent bladder control, and significantly improved sleep quality. That's not marketing hype, and it's not theory. It's peer-reviewed evidence that your choices at the dinner table have a direct line to your prostate health, your bladder comfort, and your nightly rest. Here's what I believe with conviction. Life after 60 isn't about losing pleasure or cutting out everything you enjoy. It's about making wiser, more intentional choices. Cheese can absolutely still be on your plate. It doesn't need to be eliminated. It simply needs to be chosen wisely. Respect the food you eat, and it will respect your body back. So, now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which cheese do you eat most often, and have you noticed it affecting your sleep or nighttime urination? Your personal story could be the insight another man needs tonight. Often, it's not just expert advice, but shared experiences that create breakthroughs for others walking the same path. And here's the bigger picture. Good health after 60 isn't built on big medical interventions or dramatic overnight transformations. It's built on repeated small choices that stack up over time. A better cheese here, a glass of water earlier in the day, a healthier pairing on your plate. These decisions may feel small in the moment, but together they add up to a stronger body, a calmer mind, and a life with more energy and freedom. Stay tuned, because in the next video we're going deeper. I'll reveal 5 foods you may already have sitting in your kitchen that can reduce nighttime urges even more powerfully than cutting back on salty cheese. These foods don't just support prostate health, they actively rebuild muscle, restore energy, and bring back the vitality that so many men over 60 fear they've lost. And if you think magnesium pills are the answer, think again. The surprising truth is coming next, and you won't want to miss it.